Welcome to the Venture Vault. I'm Michael Benatar, and today I'm joined by Mike Crandall. He is the founder of Digital Beachhead. It is a cybersecurity consulting company. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Michael?
Pretty good. So we were talking right before the show. I'm really excited to talk to you because I think security these days is a big issue, not only for like companies but for individuals. And I just think it's something interesting because I don't think a lot of people think about it. I got
Right.
my two-factor authentication or whatever, but I know there's like deeper steps you can go. First, let's start out. How and when did you kind of get into this field?
So after graduating college, I thought I was going to become a lawyer. And
Okay.
I went pre-law, poli-sci. Joined the military, though, burnt out. Said, I'm going to join the military for 4 years, see if I can see the world. And having taken a few like programming classes in college, I got in the military as a computer operator.
Yeah.
And just got hooked
That's
into
awesome.
networking because that was brand new and people setting up networks. And 4 years turned into 20. And I helped set up how the DoD does cybersecurity
Oh,
now,
wow.
and how they even built their networks back in the day.
That's crazy.
So I was on one of the founding teams of youngsters at the time, making bits fly across the wire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something just like we never think about. We're like, we get to go on the internet, we get to use our phone, we get to pay with a tap on our phone and all this stuff.
Yep.
But what are some of the things you're seeing these days in kind of the security realm that people are getting breached on? Because I think, like, I know I mentioned right before this too, like, my wife's getting test emails. Like, are you, clicking on these or responding to these? Yeah, it's
Phishing
just
is a
crazy
big
these days.
phishing is a big one,
Yeah.
Michael. That to your wife's point, right? Like phishing is a very big one. We are seeing a big increase in email compromise, business email compromise. They call BECs.
Hmm.
Where people are paying invoices to the wrong spot or banking information is being changed.
Oh,
And,
wow.
companies are out a couple $100,000 a time, if not more,
Yeah.
sometimes in these invoices. And then it's, hey, Michael, it's been 3 months. You're past due, my friend.
Yeah.
What's going on? And you're like, I have the receipts. Look, I paid here, I paid here, I
Yeah.
paid here. And it's all through these clever business compromises.
That's
And it's no
crazy.
longer your Nigerian prince, right? It's no
Yeah.
longer bad spelling, $1 million and,
Yeah.
a bank account.
Gift cards. Yeah.
Very, very clever, very sneakily done, and hard to catch sometimes.
And with the phishing, like I recently got caught with somebody, my Netflix got reset and I clicked it. I'm like, I shouldn't have clicked that. And then they compromised my account. And now this is the steps I've been taking. I basically started a new email that only touches my bank accounts and never touches like online forms or anything like that. I might even start another one just for like bills I pay. But it is interesting. Now I'm seeing it because I even get emails from like banks I don't even have saying like you've been compromised to my other email, not my banking one. But
Right.
it's kind of scary because we don't think about it. And like, I know there's a lot of two-factor authentications. Are those even useful at all? Like, do those help?
They do help. Anything helps. So this is the
Okay.
thing I like to tell people is you can have it's all too much. And
Yeah.
if it's all too much, I do nothing. Well, that gets you nowhere. So you have to accept, number one, if the government spends hundreds of millions and gets breached, we're not unbreachable.
Yeah.
But what can we do and take what
Yes.
little steps? So you're brilliant coming up with different emails. I hope you have unique and crazy passwords for each one of those. Not your dog plus 123 and then your dog plus 321.
Yeah. I got to change those. I do have a lot of similar type because they're hard to remember. And the problem is I was using LastPass, the password thing. I forgot my master password and I can no longer access it and they don't even help me. So I have to like start over again.
Well, and they were breached. So the beauty is the breach was they downloaded the database, but you're safe in that they actually built that there is no backdoor. Let me try to find a way in. So your lost passwords are your lost passwords.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know.
But having an account like that is good.
Okay.
To remember all your passwords. The key there is we always say never write down our passwords.
Yeah.
However, your master password should be written down and kept in a nice little, fireproof safe in the house,
Yep.
along with the birth certificates and the other things we keep. Should also be Michael's little whoopsies. These are my passcodes,
Yeah.
passkeys, and emergency things I need.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have, I have what's it called? The little thumb drive for all the crypto stuff. And that's pretty secure. You have all your, your numbers and phrases, and that's super secure. And I put it in a little box. I wrote down a few, and then I've seen lately they've been trying to pitch those steel piece, not, I guess, something steel, and you like etch your passwords in case of a fire or water damage, which I don't even know. I was like, I'm not doing this. This is too extreme for me.
I just use the fireproof safe.
Okay. Fireproof safe.
It's where I'm keeping all my important documents. I'm assuming it's as good as I'm going to need. I'm not in a flood zone, so if you are in a flood zone, maybe you do need
waterproof. Yeah. So what are some of the things we can kind of do daily, other than, I got my second email. I got to change my passwords. I know I need more obscure passwords. It is so hard because I'm always like, I just want to remember it so I can easily log in anywhere. But what do you think about like the eternal password management systems? Like Chrome has one, and I know Apple has one. Are those bad?
Yes.
Okay. So I use those a lot.
Passwords in Chrome and I get a hold of your laptop, or you click a link like you did for Netflix.
Yeah.
There's something called scrapers, and one's called Raccoon for Chrome. And it basically goes and grabs all your Chrome passwords.
Oh my God.
So they're not highly encrypted. They have a small encryption, but they're encrypted based on you and your user. So if you clicked onto that Netflix thing and it was really not just looking for Netflix, it was looking for Chrome passwords, well, you're already logged in as you. So you're authenticated. It can grab all your passwords.
It's grabbing it. So what about like the Google? I know they have like the little thumb drive that you put in, like identify your laptop. How are those more secure? Because I find them a hassle. Like my wife's laptop, she has to have this like USB drive in to like authenticate her working on her laptop.
Yeah, we use YubiKey, which is another type of that. And yeah, it's good because it's something you have.
Yes. And you could also lose it.
You could also lose it. So that's the downside. But for two-factor, it is something that's a little additional. I would also say using a password authenticator for two-factor like Microsoft Authenticator. There's others, Authy. There's tons out there.
Yeah, I have Authy. I have like the Google Authenticator. I use those for some of the things that like recommended, that seems easier to me because it like pings. It's like, okay, you just got to go there and get the code, which I like.
Yeah, and the reason you want to do that versus sending it to your text is if we steal your SIM, then the texts come to us and we can grab your two-factor that way.
And with the phones now, like I have the newest Apple phone, there is no SIM, correct? Like it's just a eSIM. So is that still, are you able to steal that too?
That's a little easier, but that would take social engineering to Apple. If I could convince them that I've changed my phone and I am you and those kind of things. So not impossible, but a lot harder than getting a SIM and just getting it swapped.
Swapping it. Yeah, it's so scary because you never know. And my grandmother, like, I don't know, maybe like 8 years ago, I don't know if she got a phone call or what, but she thought I was in jail and she had to pay like $1,000 in Target or gift cards only. And she did it. And I was like, Grandma, what are you doing? And she fell for it. And, maybe that's just like the demographic they were going after, the fall for that. But that's crazy. And I know with AI now, you could probably like steal somebody's voice and pretend to be them on the phone and
video.
And video.
We're at risk because you and I are doing this. We present videos out on the public, and about 15 minutes of your podcast grabbing your video, I can make you, and then I can make your mouth move with my words through your voice, through what you just said, plus now your video.
So, I mean, I know this is totally random, but did you see the new Kate Middleton video about her announcing her cancer? I saw some conspiracies. Was that a fake video? Was that possibly faked?
That could be.
Yeah.
I think she was using a striped shirt and other things trying to show off that it was not manipulated.
Yeah.
But you really don't know.
It's so crazy.
You have access to the video.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman in Hong Kong that gave $12 million off of a Zoom call because it was with his CFO, but it wasn't his CFO. It was
Oh my God. That's it. It's just like, it's so scary now. So yeah, like my family, we all like tried to come up with like a phrase. So we could say that and like, just
steal second.
yeah. And we're just like, it's just like some phrase that if we, my dad's like, we need to do this. I'm like, okay, let's just think of some kind of phrase to say. And we came up with that because he was worried about it. And he's always like questioning what's going on in his phone and stuff. But yeah, it's just like, what are the companies and I guess yourself, like, what are you guys doing to protect, I guess, some of the businesses and people out there? Because I feel like it's always evolving. Like the next thing's going to be like, oh yeah, AI generated us, and now people are like out there trying to scam us.
Yeah, and I think like I say, the first thing I try to do is let them know there is no fix. Right. So
yeah,
stop right now thinking like if I can spend this or do that, I'm done.
yeah,
there's no fix. So what you have to do is find what you can spend. What is your budget? What is your spend? And then finding the appropriate way so you're not doing the same thing. A lot of the companies that we get hired for, when we go in, we find out they have like 3 endpoint protections. Different products, each one giving them slightly different thing. But I'm like, you're getting a 90%, 80% solution on all of them. Take 2 of them off and take that money you were spending and let's put it into another cyber aspect of protection. You're going to get more out of it than the additional 5-10% for the other 2 products you put on.
Yeah.
Stick with the good 80%.
Because I feel like, I guess it's more in like corporate settings. I feel like it's easier to like dive in there and get access to a lot of things because it's like you're basically inside the network of everything. And I guess it's a little different for individuals. But yeah, I mean, I was trying to think. I swear there's a story a few years ago where somebody like tricked somebody into getting them money as well through email because they got in through the email and
absolutely
pretended to be the CEO.
The target is getting smaller in a sense of, I liken it to Ocean's 11's films. So we see the Ocean's 11's films. They are big heists, right?
Yeah.
Multi-million-dollar, but we also see how intricate, right? Like, if the guy falls or if they don't make this, it's all fun. Those are your heists we see in the news. So how many convenience stores were robbed last night?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. And that's small businesses with ransomware. That's you at home with ransomware. It doesn't make the news because you don't tell that I gave up $100. Your family might know, people might know, but it's not getting the word out.
Yeah.
And so those of us who are like, I'm too small, no one's coming for me. No, it can happen, you know, because they're going to shotgun this email out to everybody they can think of.
And it's so, you just made me think of something. I have a old Microsoft email that I barely use. I don't even use, but it's connected to like my other email. And I get notifications that people are trying to log in and they send me a code.
Yep.
And I think it's a legit email of like it's because I set it up where you have to like access it with a code.
Yep.
And I just get pings. I probably get it like, I don't know, 10 times a month. People are just trying to access. I'm like, I don't even care about the email, but it's just crazy that somebody's trying to access this like random email that's not even used.
But it tells you that you should be changing that email at least every 30 to 60 days, even though you don't use it.
I know. It's so what are those tactics that we can do? Because like that's a crazy one where you have to change your email, doing all this stuff. How do you manage all that? Because I'm like, I can barely keep track of like how many people going to forward me emails? Like, oh yeah, changing my emails every 60 days. So like, good luck. Like, how do you do that?
I would say, one, get a good email that's yours and give it to your friends and family, and do what you did, which was having extraneous emails for other things.
Yeah.
I always recommend a junk email account, which is the one you sign up for when they say get a coupon here and do this. Great. And who cares, right? You get your coupon, and then when it fills up, you just delete every 30 days. You kill everything in it. You don't care.
Yeah.
Changing your passwords and having a truly unique password is a big one for all of your things. So a password manager, LastPass or other.
Yeah. What's your preferred password manager? Like, what do you?
I use LastPass still. Okay. And some people get on me because, they were breached. And I'm like, well, everyone's going to be breached. They were breached. They did a kind of a poor job in their response, but they were breached. Yeah. So they know.
Yeah.
They didn't break into my passwords. I'm susceptible. What they did afterwards was email. Like, Michael, you might have gotten an email and didn't realize it, or you may get one still that says, "Hey, we're LastPass. We were breached. We need your master password."
I think that's exactly what happened. And I don't think they got in because I don't even know if I knew my password.
Right. You were perfect. Your security was fine
Yeah.
by ignoring and forgetting everything. Your security is top notch.
Yeah. So that's great. That's good to know. Yeah. Because I was like, I definitely got an email telling me to reset my password. And I'm like, they would never do that to me, I don't think. And then you have to slowly like realize like the gimmicks out there a lot of times. Like
Right.
I get UPS text messages all the time saying, your package cannot be delivered. Click this link. I'm like, what is going on? It's crazy.
Your mail is stuck and it's at customs. So you have to,
Yeah. It's like, what did I order?
And that is the biggest advice is don't click.
Yeah.
I love to joke that if I started a cyber band, our first song would be called Just One Click, because that's all it takes. Right?
Yeah.
So if in doubt, and you should always have doubt, use another form of communication. So I send you something, you're like, Mike doesn't send me these things.
Yeah.
Hey, did you, pick up the phone and call? Yes, it's a pain, but would you rather do a little painful thing or have, money lost?
Yeah, no, I do that all the time. I get an email and they're like, your package is this. And I'm like, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go like look and see if anything on my Gmail or whatever, did I order something? Because it is, sometimes you forget, you're ordering stuff from Amazon and maybe it's getting UPS or the mail. And you're like, what is happening? But yeah, it's a lot of confusion. And I think that's what they use it their advantage, because people get tons of emails.
You with it so that you get tired and you're like, I'll just click.
Yeah.
The idea is never click. To your point, oh, did I order Amazon? Well, open up your browser or go to your app.
Yeah.
And look at Amazon. Don't use the email link because you never know. But you do know how to log in.
Yes. Yeah. I do. I remember that. Yeah.
Right.
What like your business specifically, you guys are dealing with more business related issues?
Yeah, we do small to medium sized businesses. Our focal point is on those companies that need cybersecurity, which is like everyone, but but those that are big enough to know they have a small budget for it, but aren't big enough to have an actual cyber department or a CISO, C-suite officer.
Yeah.
So small to mid-size, helping them build a cyber strategy so that they can spend effectively and efficiently and affordably within their budget to help them, do something, to your point.
Yeah. And what is your setup like? Like when are you going directly to the business? Are you dealing with them just kind of over like remotely and logging in and kind of seeing what's going on? Because I imagine your security is probably top notch above most common people. Like you probably have different laptops that do different things. Do you have like a laptop offline that's only offline, stuff like that?
I was going to say that's your number one. Get a USB external drive, back up your data to it. And this is the key. Then unplug it. Then once a week, pop it in, do your backup and unplug it. You'll lose a week's of data, right? Because that's when you plug it in. And that's okay to back up to the cloud or to OneDrive or everything else for that week. But if it's unplugged and then back into that fireproof safe that you have, the hackers won't get into that backup.
So what are you using to use all that stuff to download? Like say, I have photos, I have iCloud and I have photos, photos from like 2011 in there. Are you just saying are you using a specific software on your computer that kind of knows file changes that you can then automatically upload to that USB drive?
Yeah, I have different types of USB drives, but not the to hawk a specific store, but Costco.
Sure, yeah.
Costco's great. Yeah. For like $85 for a 5 terabyte drive.
Oh shit, okay.
And it comes with backup software. So you just load the backup software, you pop it in, say, hey, backup now. It backs everything up. So it does, to your point, just the new stuff. The first one will take forever. The other ones will go slow. And then it's just every Saturday, it's backup time.
And so you're doing that every week, backing it all up. And are you doing like Google Drive stuff in your Dropbox and all this cloud software? You're just backing all that up, storing it away, safekeeping. Because I'm like, I got a hard drive full of like old photos. I'm like, oh, that's fine. But I always think I should probably have like a legitimate backup system. Is there a way you could just do it? Or is it too scary or too susceptible to attack to have like a NAS or whatever, that like a hardware that's just local in the house on Wi-Fi.
Well, the problem is if it's connected. So you mentioned Dropbox. If you have that Dropbox folder on your hard drive where you move things to that folder, then it automatically syncs to the cloud.
Yeah.
If your computer's ransomed, guess where they're ransoming? They're going to ransom that folder. That folder is going to replicate to the cloud. So all of the ransomware software is now going to replicate onto the Dropbox, and your Dropbox is ransomed.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's that removable, not connected.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I say the power of 3. So I have a backup on my hard drive. So I have my documents folders, and then I use Sync instead of Dropbox because it's encrypted better.
Oh,
so I use sync.com, same as Dropbox, except for it's HIPAA compliant for encryption. So a little better encryption.
Is it same price point kind of?
Free. Yeah.
For okay.
Just like Dropbox. And if you buy it, it's the same kind of price point as Dropbox for the bigger.
Yeah.
But you get the 1 gig for every new friend you
Sure, yeah. It worked a while ago. Yeah.
So I have it on my hard drive. I have it also then in this sync folder, which then replicates to the cloud. So I have local, I have cloud, and then I have my OneDrive second cloud, so backed up to OneDrive 2. But then my once a week failover.
I got to start doing that because there is a lot of stuff that I'm just like, maybe not day to day that I'm just like making where I'm like, oh, I need all this. But I think a lot of times it was like the older stuff that I almost forgot about that should probably back up just because it later on, like, oh yeah, I can search that. I can find that document or whatever it is.
Going back to the Costco, you can buy 3 at a time. They're normally like 100 and something, but they go on sale for 80, 85. I'll buy 3. And to your point, pictures. Okay, well, this will be labeled pictures. I'll back up all my pictures and can stay in the safe because I don't need that every week.
Yeah.
Right? That's just my pictures. The old photo albums, but I have them stacked as
digital hard drives.
Now.
Yeah, it's just there's so much to do that it's almost like sometimes overwhelming. And I've heard some people do like other things too, where I think the local storage was one thing, but I guess that's not as secure because it's kind of like you could get attacked.
Yep.
The offline computer. I saw people, this was more like a survival guy that I saw on TikTok where he like basically had all this information from Wikipedia and everything, but you could boot the computer up just from the hard drive onto like a really old laptop, but it would work. And you kind of have all this information in case like, systems went down and stuff like that, which is a fun idea, but it's also like, I got to commit to a project on a weekend and they're like, all right, I got to go buy a used cheap laptop somewhere or a new, Google Chrome laptop or something and kind of use that. But yeah, so
that's my backup drive. So my offline drives with all your pictures and everything, it doesn't have the web, right? If you want to start downloading, every file from Wikipedia you want to remember, that's fine. For survivalists. More data. I take whenever I upgrade a laptop, the last laptop in my chain is just, it's not connected. I connect it once a week so I can update the software.
Okay.
Right? Patches, update so it's not vulnerable.
Sure.
But apart from that, I don't need it. It just stays shut off. And if all my
I got to do. I got an old laptop. Yeah, I got an old laptop. I can definitely just do that and set it up because it's something you don't think about. But then, like my buddy had his identity stolen, and that's crazy too. It's just like, how do you protect all that? And I got all those like credit locks on my thing, so I'd get a notification if something like arises or somebody tries to do it, but. It's scary and you try not to think about it, but you're like, let me set up a few things. So at least like if something happened, it wouldn't, go to shit and somebody's going to be me. But yeah, it's.
So if you have an old laptop, just you plug it in and it doesn't need it every week, but you plug it in every now and again to the internet just to patch it and get it, secure. Then you unplug it and you don't leave it on the internet like we do, right? We tend to leave our laptops on.
Yes.
They're always connected to the internet. Then they're always susceptible. If you just have this one kind of on top of your fireproof safe.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I got to do that. Is there any other tips?
Bigger,
yeah. I have so many hard drives in there. I have hard drives from like when I was in college, just stacked up, just like full of stuff. But now everything's so little.
With those, Michael, is you want to make sure they're on solid state drives.
So they're not right now. So yeah, one of them got corrupted, and I was like, shit, I can't get anything off of this because it's, one of those, it probably got tossed around or something. So yeah, so now it's like slowly, like now I have like 3 drives in there that are this thin that took up, a closet full of hard drives that I narrowed. I finally kind of transferred all that information to, and I'm like, I should probably get one more time just in case something happens. But yeah, it's crazy. I honestly, I appreciate you coming on. Like, this is a lot of good information. Is there anything else that's just like, you should definitely do this that we did not talk about?
If you can,
Yeah.
home firewalls. Because what you don't realize is your service provider, be it Xfinity, be it Verizon,
Yeah.
they own that box in your house. So you don't have true control over what comes in, what doesn't come in. And you can buy an inexpensive firewall. I recommend Firewalla. It's Firewall with an A.
Writing it down.
They have inexpensive home devices.
Okay.
If you can afford it, get a gold, which is one of their top end. It's under $500.
And what is it going to protect you from? Like, is it going to slow down my internet, or do you just have full control now what data passes between?
Basically, yeah. Now you have control over the data that comes in and out of your network, and it's a phone app. So quite literally, your phone will say, hey, your TV just downloaded a lot of data from Netflix. And you're like, yeah, I watch Netflix. And you can say, mute that. I don't ever want to see that again because I watch Netflix every night. I don't need that.
Oh, interesting.
But eventually and it takes time with any firewall. The biggest problem people have is at first you get all these, overloaded with these things.
Yeah.
But you have to learn to say, and this is so easy, it's point and click, mute. I'm not going to see it again. Or block. My laptop was going to Xbox twice a day. Had the Xbox app, but I did not have an account. So I foolishly assumed if I don't create an account, the app is just a program on my computer.
Yeah.
But it literally went to the Xbox mothership twice a day, probably looking for updates.
Oh, interesting.
So I blocked it on the firewall and said, you will not hear me talk. And then I went and removed it from the laptop.
Wow.
But I would have never known that it was talking.
So why are you thinking the gold here? So this plugs in directly to, say, I have an Eero router. I plug this through my thing and then plug it right into my router, and everything will be good because that will disperse all the Wi-Fi everywhere.
I would say maybe even a Purple. They have the Purple version.
Yeah.
Purple has a small Wi-Fi range. But what it'll do is the Purple will allow you to have a Wi-Fi, and then it has an Ethernet port if you want to go hardwired in, and they can be separate networks.
Oh, wow.
So like, Michael, if you're working from home, you could separate your work computer into that Ethernet port and then let everybody else use the Wi-Fi, and you're on 2 different networks.
Yeah.
And that'll protect your work computer from family guests. Or I say I love my family, but I just don't trust them on my work network.
Sure. Right? Yeah. I actually used to, when I lived at another place, I used to rent rooms through Airbnb. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, but I think like 3 or 4 times people were still using like downloading movies illegally, like on Pirate, whatever, Hunt or whatever. And I would get notices, be like, this is your second time, you will be banned or like sued or something. Right. When all that was going on. So that's interesting. Okay. Because I never thought about this.
Know that then with the Purple Firewall, you would have been like, oh, unusual download from BitTorrent. And you're like, shut that off. Not allowed. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. I'm definitely going to give this. So I'm going to maybe do Purple. Purple's a little cheaper. It's like 300 something.
So the gold only gives you, just so you know the difference, the gold gives you more subnets. So like in my case, being ultra secure, I have all my IoT camera devices on one network. I have all my family on another network. I have my business on the third. There's just more ports.
Networks. Yeah. You have different. Okay. And each one is a different network. Okay. That makes more sense.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah. So this is definitely something just for at the home, at least. Then at least you'll know what's going on.
You'll have family, right? Wi-Fi and then wired to your work.
Cool. Man, I honestly, I appreciate it so much. I mean, I know there's a lot of just like questions for me and my security, but I think it hopefully will help a lot of people as well. Yeah. Where can everybody find you so they could get some of this protection for their company?
Oh, no worries. We are at www.digitalbeachhead, 2 H's, beach and head.com. So
Nice.
digitalbeachhead.com or just info@digitalbeachhead.com for an email. And happy to talk to people. If anybody out there has a small business or is worried about the firewalls, we also can help manage them for people.
Oh, cool.
So for like $40 a month, I'll
and you
manage
just
your
monitor
firewall for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
Cool. Mike, I thank you so much for coming on. I'm gonna gear up my protection and I'm backing up a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna bust out that old laptop. Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Glad to be here.
See ya.